So welcome, 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 dear friends, new and old. I'm so glad you're here. And I want to welcome you to the Blockbuster Method. And we're not only going to just talk about it, we're going to experience it. So for those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Pamela Moss, your soul guide and blockbusting alchemist. I actually literally have a show just called The Blockbuster Show, where I do the same methodology with people. I've been doing it for a while. I'm really super grateful to have you here. I don't take your time lightly, and I promise that this event is going to be more valuable than most people's paid content. It's going to be powerful, and all I ask is that you set aside 90 minutes for this, and you come on camera and you use the chat, because I'm going to be asking you questions, giving you action items throughout. So this is an interactive experience. It's not TV. And in this training, I'm going to show you how to transform yourself and take your coaching practice to the next level by working with your clients on a deeper level, so you can guide them to breakthrough results every time. And this is how you turn your clients into raving fans who refer other people to you, give you great testimonials, etc. And in an industry where many people make big promises but few deliver, you will stand out as a beacon of light when you can transform yourself and consistently deliver breakthrough results for your clients. You'll also be able to charge more, maybe a lot more, and to make a much bigger impact in the world. So before we go any farther, I want to see if this describes you. Do you at times struggle with self-doubt or imposter syndrome, which often sounds like, who do you think you are? And or do you ever felt panicked or stressed about getting clients results that you promised and you're not sure you can do it? Do you find yourself going back over situations and decisions that you've made, questioning, should I have done that differently? How could I have done it better? Wrestling with your emotions, and long to overcome these triggers once and for all, instead of wasting so much time and energy trying to second guess yourself? And do you deep down yearn for a new level of consciousness with inner peace and clarity, not only for your own sake, but also to help your clients to better serve them and help them achieve breakthrough results? There's one more thing I would add to that. Have you ever noticed that the mindset tools that most coaches rely on, affirmations, journaling, pep talks, do not create real change? They make us temporarily feel better, but they don't, for most people, actually create real change. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover why traditional coaching and therapy methods are not effective in transforming yourself or creating deep, lasting change for your clients, and how to adopt a revolutionary new approach that delivers transformative results every time, every session, every time. It's also a proven pathway to diagnose the root causes of your clients' issues and your own issues, so you can go right to the source and transform it at the level you created it to achieve profound shifts and lasting change. That's a big difference in working in traditional models where you talk about things and you work them over and over and over. When you go down to the level where you created the suffering, the restrictions, whatever it is, and transform it there, it doesn't come back. You've permanently changed it. I'm also going to teach you how to always feel confident and grounded no matter what is going on, and not by faking it or efforting or trying to look good and saying everything's fine, but by building a powerful toolbox of extraordinary tools, energetic tools, ritual tools, coaching techniques, shadow work, and all of these things that you can genuinely help people. It's not just that I know I can help people, but I know I have the tools to apply and when to apply them for what to help them create breakthroughs. And you're going to learn my 5-step blockbuster method to grow your business, to stand out as a leader, to generate buzz without marketing hype, simply by delivering world-class transformation, by delivering the goods. So you're going to want to stay until the end of today's event, because for those of you who stay, I'm going to gift you my soul alignment assessment. So this is a really powerful assessment. If you want to make a bigger impact in the world or make more money, but you feel like there's something in the way or holding you back, this remarkable assessment will help you discover exactly what inner work that you need to transform everything in your way of operating at your highest level in flow, making the income and the massive difference that you are here for. This is literally how you can diagnose the root cause of your issues and also do the same for your clients' issues. And if I have time today, I really am excited to help you apply the blockbuster method to your biggest challenge or deepest desires. So before we go into this, I want to just briefly share about me so you know why I'm so passionate about this topic. So 18 years ago, I had a breakthrough experience. And the breakthrough experience, I'm just going to share this part here. The breakthrough experience was that I had this inspired idea just in a really powerful course that was very transformational. And out of it, I had this profound divine inspiration. And the inspiration was to create portraits of people, ordinary people that show the divine in them. And I developed this whole process to interview them first to discover what lights them up and what the gifts of their shadow are, and what it's all for. And then I started painting these portraits. I'd forgotten that when I was a teenager, I was actually a pretty gifted artist. I completely forgot about that. And I also forgot that I was at all spiritual, or that I had any gifts like this at all. So it was a very profound experience to embrace these gifts that I had forgotten I had. And I started leading workshops, and I was so excited to support people and I discovered that these portraits were actually, just looking at them, having a portrait of yourself all lit up and in your power actually changes you. Who knew? and and I really found it just utterly thrilling, as I've been a homeschooling mom for a long time, and to discover I had these skills, these gifts, these tools to help people. It's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. There was only one problem. And the one problem was that my husband did not support it. We'd always been a very family first kind of family, and really family focused. We've had home births, we homeschooled our kids. And now I was out of the house a lot, and I was putting time and energy into giving talks and to helping strangers. And my husband resented it. Like, the deal was we stayed home. He was a writer. He was at home. I was at home. We're supposed to stay home. And we'd been together for 21 years, and we loved each other. But he's a very rational and scientific type. And he really hated that I was becoming somebody who was really into personal development and spirituality. And honestly, I had put that part of me away when I met him. So he was like, kind of like, you did a bait and switch. This is not who I signed up for. And over the next 7 years, we grew increasingly apart, which was really painful for me. And he was so controlling and so angry. And we'd have these painful arguments every night after the kids were in bed and asleep. I would cry into my pillow so the kids wouldn't hear, and he'd win those arguments every time. But I told him, you are winning every battle, but you are losing the war. And I realized I desperately wanted to save my marriage, but I could feel like this is untenable. I can't do this. And in this incredibly difficult time, I began to do a lot of inner work, almost all of it late at night when my family was asleep. And I created an intention. And for those of you who aren't really aware of how powerful intentions are, it's one of the most powerful things you can do, is to create a clear intention, even if you have no idea how it can happen. So the intention that I created was, in this difficult time, was someday we're going to separate with love and with peace. And we're going to come together with our new partners, and our daughters are going to celebrate birthdays and holidays with both sets of parents. And instead of being a broken family, we're going to be a bigger family with more love. And our daughters are going to have 4 parents who would love them and support them. So that's the intention I was holding. But in this dark time, I didn't see how in the world it was going to happen, because there was so much resentment between me and my husband. And during this period of intense searching and inner work, life brought me some amazing resources to transform my suffering. A colleague taught me a powerful method to transform limiting beliefs. Another colleague taught me how to work deeply with shadow parts of the personality. And my Kundalini yoga teacher awakened a direct connection with God. And late one night, I had an epiphany. Spirit woke me up out of a sleep, and to show me how to combine all these tools and techniques that I learned, everything I learned from multiple sources over 7 years, into one miraculous methodology to step-by-step align the subconscious mind, creating profound transformation, what I now call the Blockbuster method. And I was so excited. It was an incredible gift from the universe. I felt I'd been given the answers to the secret of life, and I began to help my clients remove their obstacles and achieve their goals using this marvelous methodology. And they'd have breakthroughs every single time. It was beautiful. And I actually taught the Blockbuster method to some of my coaches and therapist clients, who also used it with their clients, and it was really powerful for them. It ended up that my husband and I did separate after 28 years together, but we managed to do it with love and peace, just as I'd been asking my intention, and with mutual support, because of all the inner work that I'd done. And honestly, he did some inner work too, to be fair, it wasn't just me. But I remember we went down to sign the divorce agreement, and we hugged really tightly afterward. And the lawyer said, "Are you sure you want a divorce?" And 6 months later, I met my soulmate, Mark, on my first date in 29 years, very intentionally. And a year after that, the intention fully came to pass. My former husband and his new wife and our daughters and Mark's daughter and our extended families and our whole friends all came together to celebrate our sacred union together, my sacred union with Mark. And actually, my former husband and my husband now danced with each other like a partner dance spontaneously. I was like, oh my God, he's passing me off to her. It's so beautiful. And our daughters actually said we have 4 parents now. So it was really beautiful. Now, before we get into the training, I want to share my intentions. First, my intention for today is to give you the very best training I possibly can on how to transform yourself and to work with clients on a deeper level so they get breakthrough results every time and turn into raving fans. And for those of you who resonate with what I shared today, a little later on, I'll explain how we can go even deeper. So that sound good? Stay with me. So we're going to jump into the training. I've got 3 secrets to transform yourself and get your clients breakthrough results without self-doubt and stress, no imposter syndrome. And we're going to count down from the 3rd one to the 2nd to the 1st, saving the best for last. So the 3rd secret, secret number 3, and this is a huge blind spot. It's the biggest blind spot that keeps you struggling to try to transform yourself and help your clients get breakthrough results. And the simple switch that allows you to create breakthroughs on demand anytime. So what is this huge blind spots that we have? Most coaches have it, and it's what has them. I'll try that again. Most coaches have it, and it causes them to work on a very rational, intellectual level of strategies and tactics, engaging the conscious mind, which is wonderful. The only problem with that is the conscious mind processes 40 bits of information a second, which it sounds like a lot, like 40 different pieces of information coming at you, and your mind can process them. The subconscious mind processes 20 million bits of information per second. What that means is your subconscious mind is 5,000 to 2 million times faster than your conscious mind. It's infinitely more powerful. Your subconscious mind will absolutely determine your results, determine all kinds of patterns that are going on in your life that you're not able to even notice consciously. It's incredibly powerful. So you have to work on the subconscious level to truly create breakthroughs and to truly transform yourself. Because if you're only working on the conscious level, you're dependent on willpower to create changes and results. For example, if you've ever gone on a diet, if you've ever tried to change a bad habit, willpower is notoriously weak. Change is slow, it's hard, and it's very likely to backslide. And that's most people's experience, right, of trying to create change. It's hard, it's slow, and you backslide. In contrast, when you work skillfully with the subconscious mind, change is fast, it's easy, and it's permanent. And it often occurs as magical or miraculous or out of the blue results. I'm going to go to the next slide. So this is Laura. So Laura was a very early coaching client of mine. Like, remember when I told you I discovered that I had these gifts as an artist to reflect and define in people? People started asking me to coach them. I didn't even know what coaching was. I said, okay, sure. So this client, Laura, came to me early on, and she was really at her wit's end about how she could move forward with her business. She was trying all different kinds of things. Nothing was sticking. And we then did some inner work where I helped her really see the value that she truly provided. And we did this in a soul alignment breakthrough session, and she finally really got it. She really saw that she had value. She really saw like what was most inspiring to her and helpful for her to put her energy into. And she let go of playing small. And a month later, she told me that the Native Circle Festival, which she created, this big Native American festival, she took it national, and she gathered a support team who were so enrolled in what she was doing, they helped her for free. And even more amazing for her is she said, yesterday, Target Corporation called me, their national headquarters called little me out of the blue and offered corporate sponsorship. So the simple switch that allows you to create breakthroughs on demand is to work directly with the subconscious mind to remove resistance and to align with your goal. And that phrase, out of the blue results, that happens a lot, because what happens when we are truly aligned with our goal, we're no longer fighting it or battling ourselves or questioning ourselves. When we're truly aligned, all is available that really is always out there for us, but we're like, no, I can't have that. It's not for me. I'm not ready, whatever. When you're aligned, boom, there it is. Here, Target says, we want to give you corporate sponsorship. My client, Tracy, who got offered a job out of the blue, $25,000 higher than what she'd ever made before. Like, those kind of results happen because you've up-leveled your ability to connect with all the beauty and wisdom and power that's available to you. And that's very common to get those kind of out of the blue windfalls and unexpected opportunities when you're aligned. So we'll talk more about that later, but related to secret number 3 and about working with the subconscious mind is something that seems totally counterintuitive to many coaches and transformational leaders and healers. Yet if you deny it, you're going to drastically limit your ability to get great transformational results for your clients, much less transform yourself. So here it is. Here comes the important thing I want to teach you about your intuition. It has to do with your intuition and how to enhance your intuition, and it's the opposite of what you think. So a lot of coaches and transformational leaders are pretty intuitive. You know you have natural gifts. Maybe you're clairvoyant or clairaudient, or you just know things. You're claircognizant, or you're empathic, or you're a business intuitive or a medical intuitive. So if you're an intuitive, you just drop in the chat intuitive, so I know that I'm talking to the right people. And if you're not intuitive, no problem. I just wanted to see if that's something that is relevant for you. And an example, typically intuitives just want to let intuition flow. They don't like structure. We feel it limits us or confines us. We just want to let it rip. We get a hit, we want to share it. And so, for example, if you're with a client, you're just winging it and you're using intuition, usually that's what most coaches do. And that really works on a certain level, but there's 3 things you need to know, a powerful framework that you need to implement in order to consistently get breakthrough results for yourself or for your clients and transform your subconscious mind. So here comes the first thing you need. You need to be able to diagnose the root causes instead of looking at surface level patterns, like what is causing that pattern? You also need to be able to identify the appropriate tools that are going to cause the shift that you want. And you need to address levels of permission in the subconscious mind. We're going to talk more about that later, but the subconscious mind has some controls, some gateways on it that you can't open unless you have the key to be able to transform it directly. And if you don't train your intuition to work within this kind of a framework, here's what you miss. If you're not diagnosing the root cause of the problem or the issue, your efforts are very likely to miss the mark. You're not even going to come close to what's really needed to change that. If you're not using the appropriate tools for the job, at best, your work is going to be ineffective. And at worst, it could actually reinforce negative patterns or re-traumatize the client, leaving them in a worse place. So it's really important to know the right tool for the job so that you can address it precisely instead of something like if you don't have a lot of tools, like all you have is a sledgehammer, everything looks like bam, 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 but that's not really how we want to work with the subconscious mind. It's much more subtle and powerful and needs to be treated with respect. And the other thing that if you're not getting permission from all 3 levels of the subconscious mind, you very lastingly will not get lasting results. In fact, that's a really common thing in the personal growth industry, is that people have breakthroughs. They go to an event and they're like, oh, everything's different now. And they go home and like, where did it go? And that's because they're not working at the level where they really need to be. It's sort of surface level transformation. You can't hold on to it because you haven't changed your subconscious mind. That's how simply it is. You can also apply intuition to other structures too. You can apply it to things like my soul alignment assessment, which is the gift that some of you've already gotten. If you hadn't, you'll definitely get invited to have it after when I send out the replay. And that's how you can really identify what is it that I need to transform. And I want to give you an experience of this. We've talked a lot. I want to now give you an experience so you can viscerally understand the power of working within a structure in a way that enhances your intuition. So we're gonna talk about and then do the 3 levels of permission that you need to work with your subconscious mind. Here comes this is valuable information. So the first level is what I call soul level clarity about the goal. To actually create a goal, something that matters to you, something that you want to work on in the process we're going to be doing now. So I want you to write down a goal, something that you really want. And it could be something you deeply desire, or it could be a challenge that's really hard for you. Whatever that goal is, just write it down. This is just for you. You don't have to show anybody, but write it down. It's there. You know what it is, the thing that's in the way or the thing you deeply desire, but doesn't seem to happen. And just take a moment to really think for a moment about like, well, if I really just keep staying in this place, what's the cost of that? I'm not going to ask you to really go deep and, rip your heart out, but just think for a little bit, like this has really been sticking around, this desire that I have, or this challenge that I'm facing. And what's it costing for me to just keep it there and not change it? This is just for you to just get in touch with this thing that matters a lot to you. And then the other thing I'm going to ask you to do is to rank it. And we're going to rank it because we're going to do some work, and we'll see if we make a change, like the ranking changes in the process of doing the work. So the first way I want to rank it is how important it is for you, with 1 being, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter much. And 10 being like, this is so, so, so important. I can't think of anything more important than having this profound shift with my challenge, or this profound shift with my deep desire. So this is, again, just for you, how you rank it 1 to 10. And I'd also like you to rank it in urgency, because a lot of times we have a goal that's important to us, but we never really say like, and now is the time to actually do something about it. So I'd like you to rank it just for yourself, 1 to 10 in urgency, with 1 being, it's not that urgent. Like, I don't care if it happens. Maybe it'll happen next year, hopefully before I die. I don't know. And also with 10, over 10 being like, this needs to happen yesterday. Like, I really need this to happen. So you've got your goal, you've got your ranking just for you, and we're going to see if we can cause a shift by working with the subconscious mind. So here we go. This is the first, the clarity secret, which is basically translating your goals so your subconscious mind understands what you want. Because most of the time, the goals we make are too abstract and theoretical for our subconscious mind to get it. The subconscious mind thinks in images and emotions. If your goal doesn't have images and emotions, it's kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. So we're going to do a process I call the 6 senses to clarity to get that deep clarity, so your subconscious mind absolutely knows what you want and can help you manifest it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to explore what you will see when your goal is true. And by goal, it can either be the challenge you want to overcome, or it can be the deep desire that you have. So however you want to frame that. And by seeing, I mean literally seeing something, like seeing a movie or seeing an image, like a photograph, or seeing maybe a slideshow of images. And it could be something that you see yourself doing when your goal is true or the challenge is removed, or it could be something you see other people doing when the challenge is no longer there, or what you deeply desire is present. It could also be an image of something you see in your surroundings when it's true. Or maybe it's something that's more symbolic or metaphoric, like when the sun coming out from behind the clouds, and now you can really see. So I want you to come up with 3 things you will see when your goal is true. And by goal being true, we mean either the challenge is removed or the deep desire is here. And if you want to put the images, or at least the first image, in the chat, that helps me know if you're getting it or not. And I'm going to drink some tea. And this is really kind of stretching your brain. So sometimes people find this challenging, and that's why I want to support you if you have any trouble coming up with things you will see. And if you put them in the chat, then I know that you're getting it or not. What will you see? What does that look like? And if you're having trouble, just put your hand up and I can support you. Because you're literally trying to get your subconscious mind on board by seeing what it looks like is true. Okay, Nathan, go ahead. You can take yourself off mute.
Yeah, this is hard for me because,
Yeah.
and I think this is, something that I recognize. I've heard other coaches talk about it before to me.
Yeah.
And it seems profound that, most people don't know what they want.
It's true. It's true. And it's true because they don't allow themselves to know what they want. Like, I think on a deep level, we know what we want. There's the desires of our heart are very, we know what they are, but we don't let ourselves think about them very much for different reasons. Go ahead, Nathan. I didn't want to go on a certain.
No, but just this practice is actually getting real about it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And it's like, and immediately I have a block. Like I have like a scattering of images, but they don't seem to be it.
Images don't represent, you don't think they represent your goal being true?
I mean, yeah, I have like a picture of me looking out, like it in my idea of this place that I live from a high-rise building, and I have an image, I guess. Oh, maybe these are images, but I have an image of my daughter, of her face. That's all.
Yeah. So Nathan, these I don't quite know why you're saying those can't be the right images. So what if they are? What if your daughter is she smiling at you? Is that what you see?
Yes.
Yeah, I see. I'm here feeling it too. So that's an image of your goal being true, because that's not your experience so much now. So
Okay.
those are just, you're so gifted, my friend, that you think like it can't be that easy. Like I got to find something harder.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Thank you. Anybody else have a challenge? Let me see. There's some things in the chat here. Let's see. Okay. Kathy says, I see myself driving a new car, looking out the windshield, looking at the dash, smelling the new car smell. That smells great. You're going to come in later. And Catherine says, I see my new website in Carta and 10 booked calls. And Stephanie says, I want to exercise regularly and have a core strength. I see toned muscles sitting up tall, good posture, confident, proud smile. Yeah, awesome. So go ahead and think of 2 more images. You don't necessarily have to report them unless you want some support with clarifying them, but let yourself get 2 more images. What else will you see when this goal that you have is true? It's happening, it's here. This is so you're making sure your subconscious mind absolutely knows what you're talking about. And images might come to mind that you're not even sure they make a lot of sense. And that's okay. That's your subconscious mind translating it for itself. Like, so don't worry about like, why do I see a rose in a vase? I have no idea. Don't let yourself worry about it. Just let yourself see what it looks like. I'm going to give you like another minute or so to do that. And we're going to go on with the 6 senses to clarity. Translating your goal for your subconscious mind to get it, which is the first stage in transforming yourself. Everybody have 3 images? 3 images, 3 images. Close enough? Okay, good. So now we're going to go to the next part, which is when your goal is true, what will you hear? And by hear, I mean literally hear. Like it might be something you tell yourself, like, wow, that was easy. Or maybe it's something you say out loud to somebody, or maybe it's something someone says to you, like, here's my deposit on my $10,000 program. Or maybe it's something you hear in your surroundings when your goal is true. Or it could be something more symbolic or metaphoric that you hear, like a giant gong or angels going, hallelujah, at last. So just come up with 3 things you will hear when this goal, this deep desire, challenge is overcome. What does that sound like? And just allow that to enter your awareness. They're getting your subconscious mind on board. And sometimes the sound we hear when we're really aligned is silence. There's no bop, 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 bop. It's just quiet. Okay, ready to go on? I look, I'm actually got a little bit more time here. Okay. Okay, we're going to go on to the next sense, the 6 senses, if I put it here. Whoops, that's not how I did it. Here we go. There we go, which is what you will feel when your goal is true. What emotion or emotions are present when this goal is true? And just allow that to sort of bubble up inside you. You know what it feels like. So just identify, what is the feeling when it's true? Is it joy? Is it relief? Is it confidence? Is it peace, inner peace? And if you have trouble connecting with the emotion, just raise your hand. Sometimes people do, and there's something usually going on when that happens. Just allow yourself to notice, what emotions will you feel? And this is all true. It's really happening. The challenge is gone. What you deeply desire is happening. What does that feel like emotionally? And once you've identified the emotion or the emotions, and by the way, sometimes what first comes up is relief, like, now I can relax. But don't stop there, because that's the first initial, like, letting go of the burden. There's something other than that, deeper than that, underneath that, some emotion that really is wanting to be present. So you've got your emotion or emotions. Everybody had the emotion or emotions. I just invite you to notice, like, you know what that feels like. So allow those emotions to actually rise up inside of you right now. So allow that joy or that peace or whatever that is for you to just rise up and be present in you, so you can actually feel it. And notice, if it had a temperature, would it be warm or cool? this emotion or emotions? And where would you feel them in your body? Where do these emotions exist if they had a location in your body? And they might be, if there's more than one emotion, sometimes they might be in different places, but just notice what you notice. So Catherine said, gratitude, confidence, fulfillment. Yeah, you know what that feels like. So just let yourself feel it. And for everybody else, whatever it is for you, what the emotion that's present, because the emotion is part of the transformation. It's like allowing yourself to feel what it's like to have what you deeply desire or to have the challenge removed. Good. And now we're going to go on to this feeling within you that has whatever temperature it has, whatever it's located. If it had a shape, what kind of a shape would it be? Like, would it be like a flat shape, like a triangle, or maybe like a three-dimensional shape, like a pyramid? Is it moving? Is it holding still? What is the shape of this sensation, this emotional energy within you? And if it had a color or colors, what color or colors would this emotion or these emotions have? And just allow yourself to be shown something. And if there's any inner resistance to doing this, it's okay. We'll talk about why that is and what you can do about it, but just do your best. Enjoy it. And then if you could reach out your hand and you could go into your body and you could touch those emotional energy, those feelings of whatever that you're feeling, confidence, gratitude, whatever it is, if you could touch it with your hand, what would it feel like to your fingers? Just allow yourself to notice. And then just a couple more questions about this. If this emotional energy, whatever the emotions are, if it had a smell, what would it smell like? And you may literally smell it or just have it pop into your head like, oh, it smells like lavender, or oh, it smells like my mocha espresso, whatever it smells like. What is the smell of this goal being true? And then just one more sense in our 6 senses to clarity, the 6th one being, of course, your intuition, working with the subconscious mind. Oops, that's too far. I missed one. The last one is if it had a taste, if you could put everything you've identified into your mouth and you could taste it, what would the taste of that be? Just let your mind know what the taste of that is. So I'd love to hear a couple shares. You can put them in the chat or say them out loud, from this process you've just done to get deep clarity. And what I'd like you to do is notice where you were on your scale between 1 and 10 with how, I didn't even ask you about how true it was now, darn it, but you can use it for how important it is too. You can see where it was before. Is there any change now? Does it feel more available in some way? Do you feel resistance? Like, what are you noticing? And specifically, just see if there's been a change just by getting this deep clarity for your subconscious mind. Do you feel any different about your goal? Sometimes what you might feel is more resistance because there are parts of you that are holding back and they're like making it hard for you to move forward. But usually you'll have some kind of a shift. It's not a neutral thing to do to let your subconscious mind tell you, here's what it looks like and feels like emotionally and all that. Go ahead, Catherine.
Well, when I can see it and smell it and feel it, it is very present. So they both became all the goals that I had. They both became urgent and really important and completely doable. Like it's just all the overwhelm has melted away.
Wonderful. Yeah, that is the power of letting your subconscious mind see what it looks like when it can be easy.
Yeah, and I know I look forward to it instead of feeling dread.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful share. Anybody who hasn't shared yet who would like to share anything at this point before we go on? If not, that's okay. Okay, I want to ask you something. With this structure for being able to diagnose root causes, to be able to identify appropriate tools, to be able to address the levels of permission. Remember, the soul level clarity is just the first level permission, and just for fun, I'll tell you the other two. The second one is to get permission from parts of the system that are not on board. In other words, if part of you is like, oh, that's not a safe thing to do, I'm not going to let you move ahead with that, you will find it very hard to move ahead. So you have to have a conversation with the part of you that's blocking you. And the third one is seeing if you're in alignment, or if you need to do an alignment. So there's a process. So, but with this structure, with having these tools, basically the ability to diagnose root causes, to identify appropriate tools, to address levels of permission applied to your natural gifts and your intuition, do you feel you'd be more effective or less effective? And I'd just like you to put it in the chat. Would you could put more or you could put less. Do you think you'd be more effective or less effective in your work with clients and in your ability to transform yourself? Having these ways to work with the subconscious mind. Nathan is saying yes with his hand up. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If anybody doesn't think it would be powerful, I'd be interested to hear. Oh, and thank you, Kathy. I appreciate your comments, and I'll send you the link to what the rest of it later. I know she had to jump out. Okay, good. Let's see. So what's the impact of having this kind of framework in your business when you can really be able to go right in and identify what's needed to transform the subconscious mind for your clients and for yourself? Go ahead, Nathan.
Well, this is really profound because it's so simple.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, if you like, you might want to help your clients, you might know some great things that will help them. They might be totally awesome people.
Yes.
If you don't do these things, it's like, it's not like, I really get how you're saying it's not going to work. This is like, thank you for this. This is like, it's basically, I'm not ever not going to do this again, because this is guaranteed. I get it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for getting it. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad to know it's translating, because it's really what makes all the difference. And it sort of kills me that people try to focus so much on strategies and tactics that they can't apply if they're not aligned. I've actually worked with so many people who've had coaches who are all about strategies and tactics, and they're not doing anything because part of them's like, you can't make that kind of money. That's not safe, or whatever it is. Like, they can't even get started because there's inner resistance. And it's really a terrible shame that it's not more generally taught. Like, that's the most important thing to do, is to work with the subconscious mind so you can do the things you want to do.
So I would like to share just a little bit. I realized, because I've done this process with you, and that's why I'm so grateful that you're sharing this. But I realize that I can't do this on my own effectively, that it really does require somebody who has the keys in their hands to really unlock this, because our, and we've talked about this before, but our survival techniques that we developed as a little kid, those filter so much of the junk that we have in our lives, and we're not conscious of them. Well, so that's what I think the beauty is, that you stand so clear with this, that it takes the woo-woo out of it, and it's right into very practical application, and it has made a huge difference to me.
I really appreciate that, Catherine. And I actually want to contradict you on one thing. And one thing is, it is totally learnable for you to do it yourself. It's actually literally in my head, there's a flow chart I'm following, and I'm just checking where
I'm all in.
Yeah. So just saying, like, it is absolutely possible for you to learn how to transform yourself systematically. That's what I was doing, staying up late at night for all those years. Go ahead, Nathan. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say, now I want to say something, because I really resonated. I didn't know where Catherine was going with it, and I appreciate your redirection of her, whatever, but we really can't do it. I just want to say, we really can't do this on our own.
Well, you without being.
Listen. It's about, so you are creating a community here for us to practice this.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Because
there's a lot more of that. Yeah.
I mean, we might do deep change, permanent, subconscious and everything, but I don't know. I think, like, we have to get it in our, we have to have the flow chart in our mind, right? Until we have the flow chart in our mind, we need support. It's like scaffolding. It's like parenting.
Exactly.
It's like babies they need us to take care of them until they're able to do the
Yes.
thing.
Well,
Yeah.
Nathan, that is literally what I'm offering, just saying.
Mm.
So I will be telling you about it, and there, if you wish to talk about more, we can do that. But that's literally what I realized people really need, especially at the level that all of us are operating here. Like, you have so
Mm.
much to give, and it's very obvious to you how you're holding yourself back, but you don't know how to do it. And there absolutely is a proven pathway to do that, where you can for sure accomplish whatever you want by just getting out of your own way in the way that you need to be doing it for you.
And I must introduce you
You
to
must.
Ron Cicino, who is on
Thank
this
you.
call. He's a dear, dear colleague.
Oh,
He has owned formal wear stores all over. He's one of the most amazing humans on the planet, and he is a very heart-centered leader. So
mhm.
I'm just inviting him to really consider the step-by-step processes that you can take him through, because he's so beloved. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm so
I feel it in my heart as you're talking about him, Ron. I don't know if you're blushing, Ron, but I could feel you in my heart. It's kind of just talking about you.
truly, and
Yeah.
our relationship goes well back over 30 some years. So I'm just,
Beautiful.
he's very conscious, and I just love that about him.
Yeah. I love that too. I just love that that's, the people that we are surrounding ourselves by are very conscious people who know they're here to make a difference and are, really stepping up who they're being so they can make that difference. It's just, I mean, it's like, it doesn't get any better than that, I think, than to hang out with people like that. Oh my goodness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go kind of quickly through the other points here, because I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that we communicate, we need to communicate. So what I'm going to just tell you is, so that the second secret that I talk about is the proven pathway to undeniable results. And it's also, what it really fundamentally comes down to is what I call it, imposter syndrome is just an excuse. So a lot of us think like, who do you think you are to do blah, 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 blah. But here's the idea behind this. It's your belief in yourself that creates results for your clients. So just think about that for a moment. It's my belief in myself that creates results for my clients. Because when you believe you can help your clients be successful and you bring your best self to that, you help them create powerful results, right? Like it's believing that you can, that is a big part of it. But if you don't fully believe in yourself, I feel like I'm an imposter, I feel like a fraud. Who do I think I am? I'm not wise enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not ready. You limit what is possible for your clients and everyone in your life. You become the limiting factor. This is a super important insight. I'm the problem. It's me. It's not something external or somebody else. And that's good news, because when you finally stop blaming others and accept that you are the problem, you take your power back and you can start to make changes. And when you change yourself, you find that the world around you changes too. And I'm going to tell you a really quick story about my client, Judy, who's a consultant. And she came to me after an incredibly difficult year. She said her business was an unending source of shame and frustration. She said, a string of contractors left me in the lurch, and I'm furious and resentful. I hadn't been able to make a sale in many months. I cry all the time. So I just want you to notice the way that Judy was thinking about this is that they, the contractors, are the problem. And she is a disempowered victim. Like, that's how she's presenting this whole situation. The truth is, we are not victims. We actually create our circumstances that we find ourselves in, and we create the emotions that we feel. We're incredibly powerful creators. And sometimes we forget that, and we believe we're helpless victims of our circumstances. So Judy and I worked together for 1 week. First, Judy had to see that she was the problem. And when she accepted that, which is a big shift, she could get to work. We did the deep healing she needed. She forgave the contractor. She took her power back. She shifted out of scarcity to abundance. At the end of the week, she said, I just closed a $15,000 sale, paid in full. This woman reached out to me out of the blue, somebody she talked to like 3 months ago, but now she was aligned, and the things that are out of the blue coming in because you're aligned for them. And she said, I have such clarity about my business and my boundaries. I'm serving a wave of positive energy and optimism. My losing streak is truly gone. So that's what it sounds like to be aligned. 2 weeks later, Judy texted me. She said, I just want you to know I closed another 30,000 in business today. I'd do a happy dance, but I'm driving. So if you are stuck in imposter syndrome or self-doubt or shame and blame, I invite you to consider it's not the truth of who you are. It's just your ego's excuse to avoid doing your calling. Like, that's what I think it is. The imposter syndrome is like, I'm not big enough to do my calling. Little old me. I'm
Oh
very
my God.
perfect. So it's really just an excuse. Your ego's just saying, like, don't look over here. Somebody else over there will take care of it. And this is just, and I know that you are here because you know you are here to make a big difference. And we could talk a lot about who you're here to serve and what you're called to do. But at the end of the day, I just want you to know that if you feel like you're not able or ready or willing, you're lying to yourself. Like, really, you only are here because you are ready. Like, you would not be here if you were not ready. So just saying that imposter syndrome is an excuse. I wouldn't put much faith in it. It's just the thing we tell ourselves when we're scared. And then the secret number one, the most transformational of all, is the new paradigm of co-creation. Because when it comes to getting ourselves, transforming ourselves, and getting our clients breakthrough results, sometimes people believe that the mentors are wholly responsible for results, which puts all the pressure on them. And some people believe that all the pressure is on the clients. The clients have to create everything. The mentors can't do anything. And if you've ever felt that way, like it's 100% on your shoulders to create results for your clients, that does not feel very good. And it's also doesn't feel very good for mentors to say, well, I don't guarantee results. It depends on the client. They don't get results. That's their fault, not mine. And there's somewhere in between. It's 100% your responsibility, and it's 0% your responsibility. Is a middle ground. And that middle ground is basically that. Basically, the middle ground is there's between I have 100% responsible and I'm 0% responsible. Is that you can't do things to people, nor can you do things for people. They have to be willing participants co-creating with you. When we're doing the deep work, the mentor and the client are always co-creating the results, along with our invisible partner, spirit, God, the universe, whatever we call source. So the only way we can really, truly get breakthrough extraordinary results is to co-create them. Mentor, client, in a three-way partnership with the divine. And that is how each of us comes to remember our true self and our true power. And you may be wondering, well, what does it look like to co-create in that way? Can't even imagine how that looks. I'm going to give you a simple example. I recently did a breakthrough session with a coach who's at a really low point. And at the start, I called in all of our guides and helpers to assist us. And that's co-creating with the divine, right? Calling in all the help that's available. And then I did a soul alignment assessment with the client, and I gave her a couple options for the highest priority things. And she identified that she needed to begin the process by unwinding negative energy out of her body mind. And I showed her how to do that. You can literally just pull that stuff out and put it in water or a stone or something and get rid of it outside. So she followed all the energy around until it was all gone. All the negative energy was gone. And she went out and she poured it all down the toilet. She said, I feel so much better. It was all in the back of my neck, and I was stopping my self-expression. I told her, notice now there's open space in her body. And I asked her, what did she want to put in its place? You can literally pull out negativity and put in positive energy. And she said, well, I want to install that I'm more aligned with the people around me, and it's easier for me to connect. So I used my pendulum to help her do that while she just received it all. And she said, the best part was feeling all that negative stuff go out of me, this weight, this dark stuff leaving my body. I've had it for so long. It's just gone. And now she said, and then I always ask people to celebrate the shift they make and then see what the action is. And her aligned action was to experience the difference before, after, until she was super clear. It really is gone. I can breathe better. So can you see how we co-created that? Like, I didn't do it to her. I couldn't do it to her or for her. She had to actively collaborate, and the divine held the container for us. And that is something neither of us could have done on our own. It was our shared intention for healing that created the sacred space for what needed to unfold. And you too can learn how to transform yourself and co-create breakthrough results with your clients. And I invite you to notice there's a whole level of skill that you could develop, and mastering it will make it possible for you to transform yourself and help your clients every time, breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And co-creation is the heart and soul of this new paradigm that I'm teaching. And that's how you activate true mastery, is through co-creation. So I could tell you a lot more things, but I know we have but anyway, there's time. So I just want to share. I want to offer you a couple things, because there's a couple. I'm just trying to think here, because I feel like I need to kind of wrap things up, because we do because of timing stuff. But there's so much I wanted to share with you. And what I want to invite you to do is, some of you have already done this with me. You've had a soul alignment breakthrough session. And I am willing to do another one with you if you're interested in actually moving forward in a new way. Like if you really feel like this would be valuable to you, I'm happy to do that. And what I'm going to put the link to apply for the opportunity to receive a breakthrough session, a soul alignment breakthrough session, into the chat. And I invite you, if this calls to you, to apply for it. And there it is. Okay. So here we go. So I just want to share who this is for and who it's not for. So who it's for is coaches, healers, transformational leaders who are currently in business and looking to transform yourself, which means removing all your obstacles to being who you know you're here to be and get your clients breakthrough results every time. It's also for people who are committed to bringing in additional 10,000 at least on the next 90 days, because that's part of the ways you can tell that you're creating breakthroughs, is you can receive more money. And those who genuinely want to help other people succeed and make the world a better place, which I know is all of you. And it's not for people, I'm sure it's not you, who are looking for quick fixes or looking to get results without doing the work or stuck in a victim story. Like, I think even when any of us, I mean, we can go into victim stories sometimes, let's face it, we're human, but to stay there is just not who we are. So that's there. So I just want to, so what's going to happen in the soul alignment breakthrough session, for those of you who are not familiar with that, we are going to get really clear about your vision. We're going to get really clear about your challenges. We're going to see exactly what you need to create a breakthrough. You're going to experience a breakthrough, and you'll also have an opportunity to do more deeply work with me. In fact, to learn how to do this deep process to apply the blockbuster results method. And let's see, if there's time, I do want to give people a chance to actually do some more experiencing of it if we have time to. Do we have time to do like a little question and answers? You guys are still here, right? Or do you need to cut out? Okay.
I'm going to do it 90 minutes.
May I cut in one second?
Yes, please go ahead, Ron.
I want you to know that I'm from Catholic College.
I'm having a hard time.
And I was driving, so I was. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you better now. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know if you heard what I said, but I'm still blushing from Catherine's comments. And I want you to know that I was driving, so I was unable. So I've actually pulled over and stopped the car so that I could comment and just thank.
Oh, man. Dang.
I received the thank you, though.
That's a cliffhanger.
Oh my goodness, that was, yeah.
Okay,
Thank
here he's
you.
back. He's back.
Here he is. Here he is.
There he is. We're here, Ron. We're
All
listening.
here.
I'm going to keep cutting out because I'm in motion, but I did pull over just so that I could respond and let you know that I was in fact blushing. So I've enjoyed listening very, very much, but not been able to participate because I'm on 4 wheels moving down the highway.
Totally get it. You don't want to work with the subconscious
I
mind.
just want to let that's
I just invite you to have a session with her. Have fun. Ron, you'll love it.
oh, thank you so much. And Catherine, I will call you.
I'd
And
love to talk to
Thank
you.
you so much.
You're the
Okay,
best.
goodbye.
Bye. Take good
I'm glad
care.
you're here, Ron. Thank you so much.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I'm realizing I had this idea that I had to be done maybe faster than I did.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Ah,
We did 90 minutes.
That's
Honestly, I think you just got a new client.
well, we'll see.
No,
I'll
I'm
have-
not kidding. I know who this guy is, and he's what I said.
Mhm. No, I get that. I love that you've heard such a beautiful soul. Thank you. Yeah.
I love that he seems like he came from like you didn't just talk to him. He came from your media posts, Catherine.
That
Yeah.
must be,
He
yeah.
hadn't heard from you for a while. He was like, oh, good to, I'd love to talk to you. It's like,
Yeah, and
he's just a fish in the ocean is all he is. Well, not all
and
he is.
he came to my workshop in the same thing because he's running around putting fires out for all of his locations and stuff. So, but he came to my Culture Revolution workshop and he was like, "Oh, Catherine, it's so good to see you." And I'm like, I never actually, he wasn't a full client. We were just really a great relationship. So I think he'll be a great client for you, Pamela.
Well, I would love to support him, as you know. I'd love to support all of you. I really would.
I just closed a $10,000 client today, so I'm so excited. Anyway, let's go. Let's do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. We can continue to do some work with your deepest desire slash biggest challenge, the thing you've started working on. So the first thing to do, which you've already done, is we've gotten soul level clarity about it, what that feels like and smells like, and all that when it's true. So there's other steps we could do. The next step we could do is to see if all parts of your system are ready and willing and able to align for your goal, to actually, like, if all parts of you are like, yes, it's good, we're good to go, let's move forward, let's overcome this challenge, let's have this deepest desire. And if you just sort of check in with yourself and see if all parts of you are like thumbs up, yes, 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 they're all ready and willing and able to move forward, to align. And if you get a no, there is some really powerful work we can do. And if you're not sure, just sort of see it inside. Like, do I feel like I'm totally confident about doing this, or maybe not? Kind of, maybe not. Nathan?
I love your work with the pendulum for this.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's an impartial, so I have a pendulum
yeah.
that
That's
that I, just will ask, is there anything blocking me? The answer is no. I mean,
Yeah,
the answer is yes. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
but
so that's the way to tap into your intuition. And then I teach people two powerful methods of doing that. One is a pendulum, and that's a free gift. And I'm going to put that into the when I send out the recording, I'm going to put in the assessment session and the alignment assessment and the pendulum programming and the recording from this one, along with the opportunity to apply to receive a soul alignment breakthrough session. So yeah, so just asking, like, do you feel like there's some part of you maybe that is holding back on moving? Nathan, you feel that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I mean, I'm just saying it's been ongoing since before the retreat.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not like ultimately worried about it. And I notice things are shifting. It's like, it's not real. I've got all the support and I have the modeling, and you guys I really love you so much. I'm so grateful to have, it's so great, this team. Anyway, yeah, but I'm telling you, I don't know. I still have some, I didn't get a $10,000 client yesterday. I just didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yes. You know what, Nathan, I'm going to come back to you because I feel like there's a like a sort of whole ball of wax going on there.
Okay.
So Stephanie, you raised your hand. Why don't we talk to you and see if there's something more straightforward I can support you with?
Yeah, I'm getting a yes for I'm ready to move forward and just, sit at my desk and work on my next workshop and build my business. But when it comes to the goal I chose for this workshop, to exercise, have a morning routine, I'm getting, but not yet. I don't want to. Like, I drink my green smoothie and my lemon water. Isn't that enough? But I'm not like actually getting on the mat, doing the abundance challenge. Just literally woke up and went straight to a Zoom meeting at 8:00 networking and like did nothing before.
Yeah.
So I'm totally resisting the perfect routine or doing it right, so I don't do anything. And then I'm exhausted at the end of the day scrolling on social media, and like 2 hours pass, my thumbs hurt. And I'm like, why did I do that? That was so not necessary.
Perfect example of a subconscious part of you resisting. So are you willing to do some work with it?
Yes.
That's a resistant yes.
Well, I also have my heating pad here. I'm not feeling like super great. And
Well, you don't have to feel super great. That part of you that's resisting is not super great. So this is an optional, free will world. So if you don't want to, you don't have
No,
to.
I do. I just wish I felt like more excited about it.
Well, we're going to talk to the part of you that is not at all excited about it. In fact, is strongly resisting to this, because that is the source of you not being able to move forward. And all you allow yourself is the green smoothie. Isn't that good enough?
I drank it all. I finished it.
Leave me alone now. Yeah. So just notice there's that part of you. In a minute, I'm going to ask to speak to that part of you that's not at all enthused about the morning routine thing, and doesn't want to do that really. And I just invite you to notice there is that part of you in you, and I'm going to ask to speak to it. And when you're going to let it use your mouth, because that's how it can talk. But so it may sound kind of weird, but it's kind of like an actor getting a character for a role. Like you might notice, is that part of me kind of like, I don't know, or is it like, you're like, whatever, like just sort of feeling the energy of it. So are you ready to play? Let's see.
Yeah. Can I get my crystal?
Yes, you can. This is, by the way, something I could do all day. So, that's fascinating.
I can't choose. I got that.
Oh, that's so perfect that you can't choose. So this part is really like keeping you divided. Like it's like take a step forward. No, don't take a step forward. Like it's totally like meh, 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 meh. And that's why you're so drained, really, is because it's like brake gas, brake gas.
And I go fast, and I can scroll for 2 hours and like, wow, I consume so much of other people's stuff, but what did I do for me?
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah. Ooh, I got a little tinkle there. What did I do for me? Yeah. Yeah. So just notice that part is preventing you from doing what you need to do for you. So are you ready to have a conversation with that part of you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I would love to speak to the part of Steph that really has concerns about her moving ahead with her morning routine and all that stuff. Just doesn't even want to do that. Are you there?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. And what should I call you? What would you like to be called?
Silly stuff.
Silly Stuff. Oh, I think I've seen you before, Silly Stuff.
Yeah, probably.
So Silly Stuff, what's your job? Like, how do you help Steph? What do you do for her?
I keep her lighthearted
Mhm.
and, protect her from, things that seem serious, just like, oh, those aren't really important.
Mhm.
Because you can just play through life, so it's okay.
Yeah, they seem kind of scary, right? We don't want to look at those things. We'll just let them take care
Yeah.
of them. We're not going to deal with them.
Yeah, I remind her she has a good metabolism and looks good for her age, so she's all good.
Yeah, totally good. Totally good. All's well. Nothing to look at. Move on.
Exactly. You can come back to this later.
Exactly. It'll still be there. Maybe a little not so good, but whatever. So Silly Stuff. Is everything working well as far as you're concerned? Is like, is everything good? Or do you have some concern?
Yeah, good enough.
Good enough. Okay. And what's your concern if Stephanie started doing her morning routine that really empowers her to move forward in her business? What are you concerned about that?
She's gonna lose her playful side,
Mm. Her playful.
spontaneous and improvisational side. She's gonna be too structured and stuck. And
Mm. So if she, so listen, she'll lose her playful, spontaneous side, and she'll be too structured and stuck. You said, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So what's the worst thing that happens if she loses her playful, spontaneous side and gets too structured and stuck?
And she doesn't feel like herself. Becomes too serious.
What's the worst thing that happens if she becomes too serious?
She won't be having fun anymore.
What's the worst thing that happens if she's not having fun anymore?
She becomes boring and like other people, not unique.
And what's the worst thing that happens if she's boring and not unique, just like everybody else?
Then she doesn't stand out and doesn't have a chance
And she doesn't have a chance for what?
to make the difference that she knows she can make.
Oh, wow. Is there anything worse than not standing out and making the difference she knows she can make?
I mean, getting sick and being unhealthy, I think would be worse, which if I don't do something could become the path. I don't want that, but that's worse.
Yeah, well, it seems like Silly Stuff that maybe you and some other part want to hold her back or something. And you want to make sure that she stays spontaneous and playful.
Yeah.
And why is that so? Well, you said why it's so important. That's how she, if she doesn't do that, she doesn't stand out. She doesn't have fun, etc. So what would make it safe for her, as far as you're concerned, make it safe for her to actually have a morning routine that supports her? Like, what would she need? What are the conditions that would make that a good idea that really supports you too? Like, you could still be Silly Stuff because she needs that. It feels to me like you have your programming is like it's survival level, like how we get through life is by not taking things too seriously. Because you take things too seriously, it's like a really heavy weight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be there. No, 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 no.
It's also like the all or nothing,
Yeah.
I'll either do like the best routine ever and I'll do it every day, or I won't do anything at all. If
Yeah.
I can't do it perfectly and like the Ivy League version, I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah. Wow. So so it's all or nothing. Either do it perfectly Ivy League style or not at all. Wow, that leaves you in a pretty like boom, boom kind of existence. Boom, boom.
Exhausted. I get a lot of whiplash.
Yeah, I bet you do. So silly stuff, are you kind of tired of the whiplash and exhaustion? It seems like it's a lot of hard work, just like keep it good, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
also
lines in my face from smiling. Yeah.
oh wow, like everything's fine, yes. Sometimes people call that a spiritual bypass when we pretend. I've been guilty of it myself. We feel like everything's fine, really, I'm cool, I'm thinking positively, everything's great, when everything's not great at all. Like I'm really having financial difficulty or a challenge with my partner or whatever. But I think it's very common for us to prefer to have the spiritual bypass. Everything's fine. Just look at me, silly stuff. Yay. Woo-hoo.
I do want to just say that I do feel the best, like I feel like my smile is the most genuine it's ever been in my whole life. And then also there's certain times where it's like, okay, probably some of that, but I'm definitely just grateful to be where I am. Like, this is the best point I've ever been thus far. And I know there's a lot more good
Yeah.
stuff coming,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I am tired.
I know. And I just want to celebrate. You've come so far already, more than anybody will ever know. Like really you have. And I just so honor your courage and your commitment. So this is in no way to say that, get with the program.
Yeah.
Totally get you're doing
Thanks.
it. But silly
Thanks.
stuff, it seems to me like you are ready for some kind of a change because you are exhausted and you can't do it perfectly all the time or even most of the time. And not doing it at all doesn't feel very good either. It's like, where did the time go? What's happened with my life? So silly stuff, what can we do? What would be the appropriate thing to do so that Stephanie can move forward in ways that really support her to help her grow her business and to do the things she knows she's here to do without getting exhausted, without getting not having fun. I mean, I think you're trying to bring something important to her, but it has to be balanced in some way because if it's all fun or nothing, like that's not going to really support Stephanie in the long run. So what can we do? What would make it safe? What conditions do you need to allow her to do a morning routine that really supports her? Like maybe it's like certain conditions, like, well, as long as you can do that, as long as you still have fun at least once a day, or like whatever, like, let's make some rules up for what you would allow that would really allow Steph to have more support inside of herself with her powerful morning routines. What do you needed?
No touching my phone until I've done my morning routine.
Oh, wow. And that's interesting that you, silly Steph, are willing to do that. Like you're willing to be kind of serious about that. Like, phone is off limits until you've done the morning routine.
Yeah.
And
Also,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I get to like pick a time to go to bed by, like have some, goal bedtime and set my clock for the same time every day instead of randomness.
Mm-hmm. What would that provide to have not touching the phone till after the morning routine, having a time to go to bed, and that so that's reliable and you can just have your clock at that time? What will that provide?
Structure.
You said you didn't like structure.
I know, but that sounds good if it actually worked. And I commit to it.
Yeah. So this is so interesting. Like it's one of those things where there's this thing we think, oh, I don't want to do that. That's gonna be really hard. It's gonna be really horrible. No, wait a minute. Actually, that might feel pretty good. Actually, that would really be better. So thank you, Silly Stuff, for being willing to look at it and say, like, well, actually, some structure would really feel good. I wouldn't be so exhausted. I wouldn't be, scrolling for hours. Like, where did the time go? Yeah. So that would feel good to you. Would you allow her to move forward then if the conditions that she doesn't touch her phone till after the routine and she has the time to go to bed the same time every night, so she just can get used to that, taking care of herself?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you need or anything else you want her to know?
starting with 3 things in the routine is okay. You don't have to have 42.
2 things in your routine. Oh my goodness, no wonder you do that. I don't want to do that.
You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. either.
Yeah. So you're going to be a necessary correction to this other part of you, which I feel like is more like your inner critic or your inner slave driver or something. So just notice there is there's these 2 forces, which is why it's like there's you, silly stuff, all's good, it's gonna be fun. And then there's something else in you, which is like, like kind of like, no, you can't stop now. You've got to. So what we need to do, and you could actually have a dialogue with that part of you, and I'll send you my inner wisdom treasure chest, which has, I think you already have it, which has the process to have a conversation to create a shift with that subconscious part. So that part of you that's kind of the slave driver, which is in the, that part also needs to have a conversation about what it will need to allow you to move forward in a way that's the middle ground, not the extreme, and really supports you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that support you a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you want to make a note to yourself. These are commitments you're making to yourself. No phone till after morning routine. Morning routine is not a long morning routine. Morning routine cannot be more than how many things?
3 things.
3 things. Excellent. 3 things. You can do 3 things in the morning and not beat yourself up. Because when you pick 42, you're basically saying, beat me up, please.
I know. Never gonna get that done. Yeah.
It's just not very fun. Silly stuff is like, no, Stephanie, let's have fun. Get away from that mean thing over there.
Wait, he said no phone after morning routine, 3 things in the morning.
3 things in the morning routine, and then you pick
bedtime.
Bedtime that you set the clock by, and you honor that, because that is how you don't have to be exhausted and waste time scrolling.
Yeah.
So wasting time scrolling is draining you. And Catherine says, to me, structure gives me freedom. For me too. I mean, we might resist it anyway, but it does give us freedom. It's true.
I get that. I'm gonna put that on a post-it note.
Reminders are
freedom. And also that's stopping the scrolling. Like, I'm not listening to Instagram when it's like, you've been on for 15 minutes. You've been on for 30 minutes. Maybe you should.
Yeah, well, I feel like you're doing that you're distracting yourself because you are a little nervous, maybe, or maybe more than a little nervous about actually doing some things you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's your kind of escape hatch, like, whoo, where did the time go? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't need any more input of things I could sign up for. I made an exception to be here today, though.
I appreciate that. I really did. And why did you make the exception to be here today? Why was that important to you?
Because I'm intrigued by what you're offering. I know it can make a difference as I build my business too. Like, if I'm not hitting the root problem with people, then it's just going to be a temporary band-aid, and that's not fulfilling either. So I wanted to better understand how that process.
Yeah. Subconscious mind says you need to do until you're free, really. Sometimes just one little thing can do. Like I often tell people an alignment, which basically what we're doing is alignments. We're aligning the subconscious mind, getting it all lined up. So it's like, it shall be without any inner doubt. And I tell people a lot of times that an alignment is actually can be very simple and easy. And the one we're all familiar with is if you've ever gotten married or watched a movie where somebody got married or whatever, the moment you say, I do, a shift happens. Either you're like, oh, wow, I'm so happy, or like, oh my God, what have I done? And that happens because you told yourself in advance, when I do that thing, it's going to cause a shift. That's all an alignment is. When I do that thing, it's going to cause a shift. And when I say I do, that's the second I go from being single to married. And whatever that means for me is boom, right there, all of a sudden. Yeah. So that's a simple alignment people do I don't know, all the time, but it's a common, and you can see, so an alignment can be as simple as saying 2 words, or it could be an elaborate process where you have to do different steps. Kind of depends on how much resistance there is and what, but it's, but you can reliably change anything by just doing what your system needs you to do in the order it needs to do it, to create alignment.
It's interesting because my soul alignment session with you, Pamela, I definitely feel like I've had a breakthrough in saying no to more things and sticking to that.
Yeah, I remember you wrote a karmic contract where you don't have to do what everybody wants all the time.
Like I definitely have not been putting, my family first, and only if they ask me to help them, then I help them. But I found like, oh wait, I'm the problem, it's me, even though they're not like asking me for things, I'm still stopping myself and, you know, oh, now I'll go to that networking event. Oh, that person invited me to lunch. I'm in a new place. Let me go out with them. And then I'm not carving out time to actually put me first. Like I'm getting in my own way. So it's interesting that there's
I think-
another level that
Yeah.
gets to be shifted that, you know, I see, but am resisting.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Really, really beautiful to notice that. And that just is this, that's what there is to do. It's just like becoming observant, becoming aware is the first step in any transformation. Nothing can change if we're not aware that there's change needed, you know.
Yeah.
So
Thank
good
you.
job. Nathan, you want to say something?
I can't help it. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it's fine.
But I just want to say, while we're on the call,
Mhm.
I just got $10,000 in the mail. Well, like
What?
this. Okay, yeah. It's called Tulsa Remote. They've got this deal where they're paying remote workers to
Uh-huh.
move to Tulsa, and I applied and I interviewed, and they just sent me the thing saying you've been selected.
Wow.
But it's $10,000 to move to Tulsa.
Are you
I
gonna
could-
go?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, remember I was always going to Oklahoma. You know,
Also,
Tulsa's like actually better than Tahlequah because although, you know, I really want to be in Tahlequah because it's the capital of the Cherokee Nation. Talk about vibration. I mean, I imagine Tulsa's a little higher vibe. A lot of poverty in Tahlequah. I mean, anyways, I think it's probably more my jam, Tulsa, I'm thinking.
Right.
You know, and I can still be close to Tahlequah.
wow. I love the $10,000 energy floating around, and I'm just pulling some of that in. Thank you very much.
Right here on the call. I just got to say.
I love
Okay.
Oklahoma, okay.
With me, it's all or nothing. Or nothing.
Remember when we sang, "Oh, what a beautiful morning,"
Morning. Yes, I do. That
that's
was
from Oklahoma.
right, right.
$10,000 is coming our way.
I
Starting with Catherine today, and then Nathan Catherine did 70.
I just love that we let this go where it's going. It's so joyful and fun to play together. And I really, oh my God, I just love doing this so much. Just, you know, coming together in this very deep and open way to create change and to uplift and support each other. It's a beautiful thing.
It's so great. I mean, I was thinking and really relating to you, Steph, because it's like the shiny object syndrome or distractions, you know, and that so much is like I used to visualize my inner child is running off with diapers on, and I could grab her by the diaper and go, "And wait a minute, come on back," you know.
Get a leash.
And now we have a 2-year-old little guy who is potty training, so we're not in diapers anymore, and that's a bigger miss. But it's just so fun to watch how our inner child gets us just off shiny object. Woo! That looks like a lot more fun than what I'm doing right now.
Right, right.
But
My
then
friend has-
you pay a price. I mean, I know.
Sometimes we need to be grown-ups. We don't like to, but
Ooh, no.
My friend has a mug when I was visiting, and I want to get one. It says, "I'm not taking that on," and just saying no to things. So I keep envisioning that before I say
I'll drink
yes,
to that. No.
I'm not taking that on. So yeah.
Beautiful,
Good.
beautiful.